Uh, it's 8:30 in the morning, and I'm going for the walking tour of Samarkand, and I'm in one of the old streets, I think, and this is how the older designs were, the brick design, I guess, the original one, and these are the renovated ones. And yeah, the brick design is typical of all those big architecture. This old street also reminds me of the city, one of the city where I used to go as in childhood, Raipur, which is also the parental home of my parents, and they also used to have these open drainage system. So yeah, some bit of memories from there. But this is not the central street. The roads are bad, and like some newer construction, some older construction and stuff like that. But I think the central area, the old street, is recreated exactly like how it was before, but with all the finesse. We'll be looking at that later. It's Registan Square in the morning. Currently I'm getting late for the walking tour, and I'm sure I'll be coming back to cover this more.
Towers that is surrounded on the two behind park towers. In the front part you are seeing before also having towers because columns survived in the middle tower. 4 towers function is in one day with 5 times. Both Islam Timur was spent on the war, only couple years within the peace. In the end of his life, he planned to attack China. On the road to going to China, he pressed the Rajma Sutra.
This is the mausoleum of Amir Taimur and the family, apparently. So there's the teacher who's the green one is Amir Taimur. The teacher is on the north of it, and these are all the sons and grandsons, and the small ones are kids actually. Apparently they made all the above artwork with paper. That's what the person explained. I think he gave some reason that it's safe, and they also use like 400 kgs of gold apparently on this. The things that are here down, they are, I think, stones, marble, which reflect light. I don't know, he said some specific stone which I don't remember. The real graves are apparently down somewhere. I think you go from this gate and then you go down, and that's where you probably have access to the real graves. These are just for representation purpose. This is the original part which doesn't seem to be renovated. So the brick architecture is still there. But yeah, this is the one which is renovated. But the original architecture is much more authentic, I would say. Apparently this picture is also featured on Lonely Planet in one of their brochures, is what somebody once told me. So yeah, maybe one last capture of the place. I don't know what exact part, but then some of this, I guess. Some interesting wall art. Yeah, back at the Registan Square in the day, and yeah, maybe from the front also. I hope they are going to explain more about the Registan Square and the history. So the tour guide explained a bit about this Registan Square. Apparently they were all madrasas. Madrasa is basically an Arabic school. So the one at the center and the one on the right, I think they were the regular religious madrasas, and the one on the left, I think it also taught science like astronomy and other things. And apparently this madrasa was also like, I think poor people could also study by getting scholarship, while these, the left, the center and the right madrasas, were only for the rich people. Apparently the right madrasa also ran a hammam, which is like a community bath, and the center one ran a, I think he said Registan Sarai, or something of that sort, which sounded like a hotel or a hostel or something like Dharmshala or inn. And the money that they earned from these two is donated to the left madrasa. So yeah, all in all, they were madrasas. I was always curious what exactly these buildings represent. Apparently, there was also a mosque set up, and then you could also offer namaz on Fridays. At some point, it was happening apparently, but then I think after the Russian acquisition of Uzbekistan and Samarkand, I think it became mostly a tourist destination. So this is the street from Registan to, I think, the other end of the city, and yeah, it feels touristy. It feels like those old towns of Europe, which with cobblestone, although this is not really cobblestone. And this was called Tashkent Street before. Then they changed the name to, on their first president, I forgot the name. So we have come here. I mean, now all the architecture has started to look the same, but I don't know what this building is, but I think we'll get to know about it soon. Okay, so this is Bibi Hanum Mosque. Apparently, Bibi Hanum was one of the wives of Amir Temur, and also I think granddaughter of Genghis Khan, if I heard it right. And the interesting bit is Bibi Hanum did not have any children, so Amir Temur trusted her the most when he went out to fight, and she's the one who would be controlling all the things in Samarkand. And yeah, this is the mosque, and there is a mausoleum. I think it's on the other side. I think that one. And there is a madrasa also. So the entire thing becomes Bibi Hanum complex. Apparently entering here is free, but I have to come back to visit because as part of the tour they asked us to kind of keep moving. I think that building is the Bibi Hanum mausoleum or the tomb. That's Bibi Hanum complex, the mosque, and this one is the mausoleum, and apparently it's better visible from here. I think when I'll make the video I have to zoom in. Hopefully it should be fine. This was a Zoroastrianism temple, the Parsis temple of fire, which then got converted to a mosque after, well, the Islamist came. And the next to it is the mausoleum or the tomb of the first president. I think his name is Islam. Okay, I forgot the second name. It's Slov at the end. And yeah, we'll be going inside this now. Looks like it's the prayer time right now. So people are sitting down and on the chairs to pray. So the tour guide actually told that this is not how the mosque was initially built. Apparently the red color is, the red and the dark colors is not something they use a lot in Islam, like all the red color here, because it symbolizes, I think, blood. So red, brown and black color is not really used. They use like green, blue and yellow colors. But this temple looks more like Eastern, like Indian is what they say, because it was a Zoroastrianism temple before, the temple of Parsis. So when they renovated, yeah, they gave it that kind of a look and feel, so they used red color here. That's the Bibi Hanum complex visible better from here, and the rest of the Samarkand city. Yeah, it actually feels like those European cities. Well, not exactly, but a bit close, I would say. This is the part of the temple that is visible when you come from the outside. Yeah, for some reason, I think the pillars have not been renovated much. Like they look wooden, and well, no colors have been done. but the rest of it seems nicely renovated. And you could see the dark colors are used only on the ceilings, not on the walls for some reason. That's the name of the mosque, but they never said the name actually. There are some pictures of how it looked in the past, I guess. I think this is how it looked. I don't know in which century. And this is the closer look of the mosque in the past. That's the ticket to enter the tomb of Amir Temur. 40,000 som is the price. One thing that you would notice is that like in any card transaction there will be surcharge, like you either pay in the store or in the petrol station or anywhere else, and that's 1.5%. That's the same surcharge that you pay when you withdraw cash using a foreign card in Uzbekistan. So well, in Uzbekistan everything is like 1.5% extra that you need to pay. There is like no cheaper option, either you pay by card or you pay by cash. 1.5% is what you'll be paying extra. As for this the ticket for the Amir Temur tomb, 40,000 is, it's like $3, I guess. It's an okay price. The tomb inside, and Amir Temur being the greatest king of Central Asia, if you would like to see, I think it's a fair price. But I think from the outside itself is a pretty good view, I would say. So maybe the inside visit could also be skipped if you like to.
Friendly, because for the local people behaving stranger to presenting strange idea. Because in that time half population prior to Buddhism, also half people Zoroastrianism, fire pride. That's why local people tried to stop their influence here. Later, after around 70 years, Arabian Caliphate, Arabian kingdom took whole Central Asia, our region as well. They're in our country becoming Khalifa. Khalifa means king. Qutaiba ibn Muslim. Qutaiba ibn Muslim. And he came one day by visiting the grave of first missionary, first president of Islam, and offered on the top side of his grave, building one beautiful gravestone. On the top side of the gravestone, one beautiful dome, mausoleum.
So as the tour guide explained, this is the mausoleum of the first person who brought Islam to Samarkand. I forgot his name. Apparently he was called Shaheed Zinda or something like. Well, yeah, there is some story to that. And when the first ruler came to Uzbekistan with who brought in Islam, I think his last name is Muslim. He actually came and built this mausoleum or tomb for this first guy who came in, and apparently there are now 7 or 8 tombs. The rest of them are like Amir Temur's wives and other people, but I think the first one was for that person. The architecture of most of these places are kinda similar-ish, I would say. So yeah, maybe seeing just one place is good enough. And but well, yeah, these 4-5 places are worth visiting. The tomb of Amir Temur, then the Registan Square, then Bibi Hanum complex, then the Zoroastrianism temple, which is now the first mosque, and this one, the Shaheeds in the tomb. So I'm right now walking to a cafe which is told to me by the tour guide to eat something because I'm fairly hungry. In the meantime, I also wanted to talk a bit about Amir Temur, who is the figure of Samarkand, and I think I have not really talked about him. So I came to know about Amir Temur when I was in Tashkent last year, and they had a very big statue in the center of Tashkent Amir Taimur statue and Amir Taimur Square. And I overheard a tour guide saying that the Amir Taimur was the same lineage of people who built Taj Mahal in India, and that got me interested. So I looked up and I figured that Amir Taimur grandson or great grandson was Babur, who came to India and established Mughal Empire, and his success, like his grandson or his somewhere in his lineage, was Shah Jahan, who eventually built Taj Mahal. So the Mughals in India, they came from Uzbekistan. They were the Amir Taimur descendants, and Amir Taimur is also probably the most the figure of Uzbekistan or Central Asia. I think he was the most powerful king Central Asia ever produced. He's today the tour guide mentioned that he is also considered like the national celebrity, like how is Mahatma Gandhi in India. I don't know father of the nation or not, but something like that. And I was fascinated by Amir Taimur and I wanted to know and read more about it. And Samarkand was the capital of Amir Taimur. Today the tour guide mentioned that whenever he would go on to wars and win and then come back, he will try building one building as a memory of his win. And I think that's how all these structures in Samarkand got built. I'm here at Bibi Khanum Tea House, which is the place recommended by the tour guide. It's a nice place, which is a little like semi-open with lot of bushes, trees, and creepers here. It feels nice. I have ordered a chicken soup for 40,000 Uzbek som. That's the only thing I could find which was cheap and does not have red meat. It's around $3.50, including the service charge. I think I'll head back to the hostel after having my food. I think I have enough of sightseeing. I'm yet to make the video for yesterday and today, which I'll be doing. And then I will be leaving to Bukhara. I'll try to leave early morning tomorrow so that I don't have to ride in the heat. Bukhara is further west in Uzbekistan. Bukhara, and then I'll go into Khiva. So Khiva, Bukhara and Samarkand, they were considered the main cities, and I have read a bit of a history. They were also very powerful kingdoms, which kind of fought with each other quite often. I'm looking forward to seeing Bukhara and Khiva as well before I exit to the West Kazakhstan. So I ordered a kvass here as well, which is this half. The glass is like 15,000 som, which I think is pretty expensive for the amount of kvass that I got. Well, for past 10 minutes, I think I'm trying to get the attention of one of the waiters to come to me. And these are these young boys who are roaming around. And I have not been able to catch their attention. So I'm able to get the bread the second time. So I did get the attention. The bread is called lepioska in Central Asia. It's a Russian word. It's actually very tasty. It's a flat bread, and it's usually tastier when you order them in restaurants. I ate the half of it. I really find it tasty, so I got another half. I'm heading to an ATM nearby to withdraw cash to be able to give to my hotel, and then I'm passing by Bibi Khanum mosque, and I thought I will have a closer look. I don't think I captured this when I passed from here before. Samarkand also have these shops that are selling these souvenirs. Samarkand Art House, and it actually reminds me a bit of Cappadocia, Istanbul. Not specifically Istanbul, but more of Cappadocia, where they were selling all this stuff on the road. And the path and all is nicely done for the tourist. It's not cobblestone, but I think they tried making those typical cobblestone paths. So definitely Samarkand is made much more touristy, and it has the nice tourist vacation vibe as well. It's the bazaar of Samarkand. I think it mostly has spices, some ceramic, fruits, vegetables, and some small clothes. But it's pretty large, and it's like the old style bazaar that you usually see on the Silk Route, like the Chorsu Bazaar in Tashkent. And the side view of Bibi Hanum Mosque. Apparently, it was the largest mosque from 15th to 18th century in Central Asia. I forgot to mention this part. Lepioshka shops. Yeah, the bread. We are selling the bread, the flat bread. Just going through the market, so I thought I'll switch on the camera to see what all is here. These are primarily fruits and vegetable shop. I'm guessing fruits. I think Uzbekistan temperature. I don't know if they get the fruits or did they really import. I've not really inquired the prices. They have not put the prices either, so I don't know. Now this is some nice street view and a nice street parking. Yeah, you really need to be very precise to be able to park on this, I guess. And this this bump, I think, is created by the car owners from this side, so that the people don't park car from that side to here. Samarkand definitely beat Indians when it comes to parking on the narrow streets in an innovative way, I would say.